This time on the Coach's Cut with Mike Tice, who's to blame for the Raiders' poor play? Plus, Coach Tice breaks down the superhero play from Josh Allen, and Nate Tice joins the show to talk about the surprising play from the first place Chicago Bears. All that and so much more coming up right now on the Coach's Cut with Mike Tice. Welcome inside the Coach's Cut with Mike Tice. I'm Mike Davis. Thanks for being with us, Coach. A bunch of really impressive records being broken this past week in the NFL. Let's start in Arizona, though, with the Cardinals' backup, Jacoby Brissett. He lit it up in a loss to the 49ers. Tell us about that game.
Well, Mike, he started in the league before, started for the Colts and I think one other team. But to go out there and have 47 completions, an NFL record, regular season record. I think there's been one time before where Roethlisberger had 47 completions in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
But the most completions in a regular season game, 47 of 57. That's like sick. 452 yards and 2 TDs. My hat's off to Jacoby Brissett.
I like it when a backup can come in and do some special stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and Coach Josh Allen, speaking of quarterbacks, he did some superhero stuff last week, maybe not on Thursday night, but last week versus Tampa Bay, the Bucs in that win, he was pretty special.
Pretty special. He's the only player to ever throw for 300, rush for 3 touchdowns, and throw for 3 touchdowns. Not only is he the only player to ever do it, he's done it twice. Now, listen, 1954 NFL Championship, Otto Graham, the great Otto Graham of the Cleveland Browns, he had 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns, but he only threw for about 160 yards. So that's as close as anyone's been.
And I want to know what a pack of gum cost back then. But quickly, let's talk about this, Coach, because we watched Thursday Night Football together, producer James as well. And you had a really poignant point that you brought up while we were eating some hamburgers and stuff. The defensive play, because Josh Allen looked like the MVP last week, but last night, different story. Different
story, but Mike, 3 times in the last 2 weeks, the great defense, the Houston Texans last night against Buffalo, sacking Josh 8 times. I mean, unheard of. Your team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm sitting here saying they can't score enough points to beat the Lions. Kick the butts out of the Lions, and then the last one, I said the same thing. Chiefs are too explosive. Denver, number 3 scoring defense in the league, does a nice job of slowing down Mahomes and company. 3 times in the last 2 weeks, the elite defense beat the elite offense.
It's really interesting and fascinating stuff. Okay, now let's talk about this, though, because my dude in Seattle, JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the wide receiver for Seattle, he's playing out of his mind.
Out of his mind. First player, now there's been a lot of great receivers come down the line, including my guy Randy Moss. First player in NFL history to have 75 receiving yards in the first 10 games of the season. I mean, that's, when you're a great receiver, teams are double teaming you. Teams are trying to take you out. They can't stop the guy.
And how much of it is, because he's been in the league for a little bit, Cooper Kupp leaving the Rams, and now, he's not doing too much on the field, but maybe he's coaching up these wide receivers.
Well, a veteran guy like Cooper is doing that. But also, except for the 4 picks he threw last week, Darnold's been getting him to rock. Yeah. So I'd like to see the Seahawks, like I say all week, to run the ball a little bit more. But your guy, Jackson Smith and Jigba, is lighting it up.
Okay, now let's talk about this. More wide receiver talk, because the Bengals' Jamar Chase, he's suspended this week following a spat he had. And when I say spat, he spit. If you can see it right there, he spit on defensive back for the Steelers, Jalen Ramsey. So, Coach, in a situation like this, there's a lot to unpack, but let's just take it from this angle. If you're coaching in this situation, and let's just say you're Mike Tomlin or you're coaching Jalen Ramsey and the defensive backs in the secondary, what do you do in the moment to settle down a player like that? Because emotions are high.
Well, first of all, do you blame Jalen for punching him? I mean, you get spit on as a man. It's a sign of disrespect. It happened in the opener with Philly and Dallas when Dak got spit on, right? Yeah. And it's a sign of disrespect, and it's a sign that maybe you should have more respect for your fellow man, but a little bit more respect for the game to go out and then to lie and say, I didn't spit on that man. I mean, come on, everyone could see it's on national TV.
Yeah.
So I would just tell Jalen, chill out. You got your point across. let's go play football.
Okay, now let's talk about this, because you were the head coach of the Vikings when you had maybe perhaps the best wide receiver of all time, Randy Moss, and he was known for some antics, and I'm specifically talking about that baby right there. The mooning shot, he mooned the crowd. Yeah. Can you tell us the backstory?
There is a backstory. So when you play in Green Bay, you're usually staying in Appleton, you're taking a long bus ride to the stadium, to Lambeau Field, and you're passing some farms, and along the way, some of these farmers would moon the bus. And this was Randy's get back at the farmers.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me you're on the bus, you're traveling to the stadium, and farmers start pulling down their pants, mooning the bus.
Yes.
And you saw bare behinds.
Yes, I might not have seen it, but the guys saw it. So anyway, to make a long story, that was his comeback to them. Like, okay, I just scored on you. We're up. We're winning. We did win the game in the playoffs in Lambeau Field, and Randy faked the moon. Now, they made a big deal of it on TV, but nobody knew the backstory.
And internally, did you get worked up about it? Did you have to talk to Randy, or no, you didn't make a big deal of it?
I mean, I think he scored 3 touchdowns that day. I didn't get worked up. I didn't get worked up at all. I got worked up that he scored 3 touchdowns, I believe, and we won the game. I do know we won the game.
See, so. Your mind over matter. You got to make sure you're thinking of the important things. All right, guys, we're just getting started here on the Coach's Cut with Mike Tice. Next up, that guy right there, Nate Tice, NFL analyst with Yahoo Sports and the NFL Network, and most importantly, Coach's son. He's going to join the show after these words.
Well, I'm more than excited to have a very special guest, actually for the next 2 weeks, host of Football 301 podcast with Nate Tice, so now you know who it is. NFL and college football analyst for Yahoo Sports, NFL Network contributor, my son, Nathan Tice. Hey, Nate.
Hello. How are you, Dad?
I'm doing
Thank you for the intro. And we're in the same city actually, but we don't do this in person because I'm like, hey, I don't know if I want to go down all the way down there, but doing the show. But happy to be here. Happy to see you.
Well, today's your Saturday. I told
it
the
is
guys.
My Saturday.
Yeah, no. So I know listen, I know since he came out, Nate, you've been a big Caleb Williams fan. And, he's really doing a nice job in tribute to the staff there. So the Bears are in first place in the NFC North. It's been, I think since 2018 that they have been in first place. Give us your take on the 7-3 Bears and winners of 3 in a row, and I'm excited to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, it's not even just Caleb Williams. I know the quarterbacks will always get the most pub, good and bad, and Caleb Williams seems to be one of those people seem to be split on him, even though he's obviously good in my opinion. But I do think what Ben Johnson and that offensive staff have done in Chicago is the run game has been outstanding. Mm-hmm. Even with a running back that I consider iffy as far as his vision, and DeAndre Swift, it's been really cool to watch since their bye week especially, but this season, even season long, to see them kind of hone in on what works in their run game, which is a lot of stuff to the outside, a lot of toss zone plays, plays that where Swift doesn't have to work between the tackles and read out a play as much. It's not like they never do it, but just more infrequently. So now when you get more stuff in space, okay, he can just plant his foot and go. And it's been really cool to see not just him and just figure out what works for them, but also the offensive line. They made 3 new additions there. Joe Tooney at left guard's been great. Yeah. At center, Drew Dahlman. That's why they're doing so many center or zone stuff, because he's better at that. And at right guard, they have Jonah Jackson. But also just the young skill guys have been really buying in. Colson Loveland, Roman Dunze, Luther Burden, their other rookie receiver. And right now, it's not just eye test. Statistically, if you look at just season long, they're number 1 in rushing success rate on running back runs. Sometimes you look at those stats and includes a quarterback or receiver, but when you just include running back runs, they're first in rushing success rate. They are first in explosive run rate, which is gains of 12 yards or more. And this is not only just good for this year, it's the best Bears offense in the new millennium, at the very least. I can look back to 2002. This has been the best Bears offense since at least 2002. It has been really, really cool to watch, just the entire thing on top of Caleb Williams' development as well.
There's another first-place battle of teams, first-place teams this week. The Bucs, who have lost 2 out of 3, I believe, at the Rams, who, in my opinion, one of the top teams if not the top team in the NFC. Tell me, is this the week that the Rams start to separate themselves with a 6th win in a row from the rest of the NFC?
I feel like they've started to do that. I think that Seahawks game last week was kind of, I think the Seahawks still haven't caught on to people as how good they are.
Right.
And so I think that was more of a battle of the Titans than people realize. And I think the Rams are, you said NFC, I would say they're the best team in the NFL pretty definitively.
Wow.
I think they have a top 5 offense, a top 5 defense. The special teams we'll see. They switched to the thicker kicker, this big boy that they're trying to try out. But I think that their run game is excellent. They can run in several types of runs they can major in, stuff to the outside like zone runs, but also duo runs, right at you runs. The switching between personnels, which you've seen a lot about, has been a really cool way that they can pivot. And I think that's more, I know there's a lot of hype about the 13 personnel and what that is right now with the tight ends. But what's cool is that I think that's going to be better for them once playoff time comes around. Because as you know, it's more about matchups. And especially when playoff time comes around, they take away what I say your fastball is. So what's your changeup? What's your off-speed pitch that you can do? And now the Rams kind of have 2 working fastballs. They have a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer because of what they can do with the tight ends. But also what Chris Shula is doing with the defense has been really, really good. It's a unique defense. It's fast. They use a lot of dime personnel, but the front's really good. And I think he does a really nice job of hunting matchups, finding who the fish is on the offensive line, hunting down exactly what the main concepts are for the opposing offense. It's a really well-rounded team that can do a lot of things. They don't have a lot of true weaknesses, which is, to me, a true contender.
And the quarterback's on fire. I mean, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's playing great ball. But I saw a piece you did on 13 personnel for the fans out there. 13 personnel is 1 back, 3 tight ends, and all of the different movements and creating matchups on the edge, creating a light number count in the run game, and then running that great naked package that you showed. I mean, true naked. I mean, where the quarterback has no protectors in front of him, and guys are wide open running across the field.
McVay is just he does a really good job. Like anyone can just draw plays on a whiteboard, but it's like his ability to sequence plays is excellent. It's rare, I would even say, from kind of being around play callers and seeing and studying these guys. It's kind of one of those things because he was so young, he gets hyped up. You want to be a hater. And then it's over time, he's really earned my respect of how he adapts to his guys. And it's really important this week against the Bucs. They're touchdown favorites, which I think is significant. I think it's right. But I think too is because they line up great against the Bucs, because the Bucs, if you get them into base personnel, they're defensive base personnel with 4 DBs, and they run a 3-4 up front. But if you get them to that, you can throw it on them. The Bucs are 32nd this year in yards per play allowed when they're in base defense. And it's not just a couple plays; it's a healthy sample size.
Right.
So if the Rams can pivot to that 13 personnel, the 3 tight ends, dare Todd Bowles to match them with 4 DBs and a big base personnel, I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to get the big personnel to throw the ball, as opposed to getting it and trying to maul down Vita Vea, which I think is a losing matchup anyways. But again, just speaks to what the Rams can do this year.
Yeah, and I agree with you about the coaches. I mean, for a coach to go out each week and find those matchups that are in their favor, I think the Rams have done as good a job as anybody since maybe Belichick has left New England. I mean, he was the master of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just the offensive version. I know, and I think it's just it as you know, it takes a lot of time and effort to find those matchups and really come up with a game plan, and that's why it's so. He's hats off every year to what McVay and that staff does, because it's like every week they have something new.
Yep.
They have some little tweak of something they showed before. They have a tendency breaker, and that takes time. And it's really cool every week to see what the effort they put in and the results that come from it.
Well, listen, those were a couple of easy questions for you. You're going to be my guest on next week's Thanksgiving special, and we're going to rank a whole lot of different positions and players. So thanks for coming on this week, Nate, and I look forward to talking to you again next week on Thanksgiving week.
Can't wait. Hopefully I have a new shirt on.
I'm going to wear the same thing. So, all right. Talk to you in a little bit.
All right, after the break, Coach Tice is talking Raiders, from the horrendous O-line play to taking on Shedeur Sanders this Sunday. That's when the Coach's Cut returns. Welcome back to the Coach's Cut with Mike Tice. Mike Davis here with you. So the disappointing play continues for the Raiders, Coach. On the national stage, Monday Night Football at Allegiant Stadium, nothing changes as the Silver and Black got smacked by the Cowboys. So, Coach, you know O-line play better than anybody I know. To me, I'm just a schmuck watching at home, okay? But this O-line, it looks atrocious. I mean, what the hell is going on with this team and the O-line specifically?
Well, I'm not going to call them atrocious, but I will say they're not very good, and they're not in sync, Mike. When you see free runners to the quarterback or free runners like that, free runners to the quarterback, then there's a communication issue. And the communication starts from the coordinator to the O-line coach. That needs to be communicated to the offensive line. The center runs the show most of the time on the line of scrimmage. There's either identification problems from the front, or there's communication issues between the running backs and the offensive line. But it's not good, Mike. You've seen a lot of plays where a lot of guys in a different color than silver and black.
Yeah.
In the backfield.
So like in basketball, when a pick is occurring and you call out a pick and you over communicate and you say switch, you know who you're going to switch on from a defending standpoint.
Yeah.
What's the deal with this? Is the quarterback supposed to communicate, or the center, hey, our running back, you got, if somebody is rushing to the quarterback, it's going to be on your. It's
done two different ways. I've done it both ways. The offensive line is either going to identify the 6 blockers if a running back is blocking.
Yeah.
The offensive line is going to identify what linebacker, or what safety they're working to, and the running back is going to take the next man. It appears to me that's where some communication is breaking down in protection. In the run game, I'm seeing different things. I'm seeing 2 guys blocking a play, like the play's going to the right, and 2 guys blocking a play like it's either going to the left, and then there's a free guy in the hole, because the running backs are getting hit in the backfield quite a bit. That's either technique that they're teaching is not the correct technique, or once again, a communication problem. And the communication problem always has to go back to the coach.
Okay. Now, speaking of blame, who do you think is to blame for all of this? Is it Pete? Is it Geno Smith? Is it Chip Kelly, the OC? Who is to blame for this?
Well, first of all, I think there's a personnel issue. I think there's some talent issues in the front, in the offensive line. And it's not like Jim Otto and Art Shell are going to come back and save the world. They have who they have.
Right.
And so the blame, there's plenty of bad football there to share the blame with a lot of folks. But at the end of the day, everything starts at the top. And it's the people you hire have to have the same vision that you have. And then the people that you hire that are the coordinators have to share that vision with the rest of the staff. There's something there that's not right, and that has to be fixed before they can play good football.
Okay, last thing here. This week now the Raiders are set to face the Browns, but interesting wrinkle here is that rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, always in the news. People always want to talk about this guy. He's making his first official start this week. What would you do as a head coach? What do the Raiders need to do to beat Shedeur Sanders and the Browns?
I would blitz him like every play. I mean, I would blitz him every play. I wouldn't let him get his feet set. I'm not sure he's going to be able to find a second read. And I would get after him like they got after Josh Allen last night with 8 sacks. That's what I would do.
Okay, fluster that young rookie quarterback. Guys, coming up after a short break, don't go anywhere. It's Odds and Ends when we return. Welcome back to the Coach's Cut with Mike Tice. It's time for Odds and Ends. So, Coach, this past week, the turnover differential in Week 11. Give us that breakdown.
Well, it went back to the norm after last week being 500, right? 6-6. +1 or better teams were 11-2, and the teams that didn't turn the ball over or created more turnovers won the games. There were a couple games that didn't hold true, and one of them was Josh Allen with 6 touchdowns. You know, they lost a turnover battle, but he had 6 touchdowns.
Okay, so that was an
That
aberration.
was last week's
but
game.
yes,
Yeah.
but okay. Now, what about the season-long overview?
The season-long overview keeps getting strong. +2 or better. Teams are 70 and 50, Mike. So if you're in that green, you're going to win more games than you lose. And then teams that are -2 or worse, look at the numbers: 61, 94, and 1. If you can start that way, by just not beating yourselves, you're going to win more football games. It's an obvious statement.
Okay, got to make sure you protect that ball. Now, lastly, Coach, it seems like NFL fans, I mean, we talk about this, we've spoken about it earlier in the season, but it just seems like you can't get up from your couch. These games are so close. Have you ever seen it this crazy?
It's been records, Mike. Let me read you a couple of the 5 teams last week recorded the game-winning score on the final play of the game in either fourth quarter or overtime. That's a record. That's unheard of. It's either don't get up from the couch, or when you do get up from the couch, bring back 2 beers, bring back an extra beer. Otherwise, you're going to miss something.
Somebody's got to come up with a contraption where you can just go to the bathroom and seat it on your sofa. That's what I need.
And Mike, there were 7 teams last year that won the game. Last week that won the game when trailing in the fourth quarter. So again, it showed you don't get up. And if you get up, maybe bring a 6-pack back with you so you don't miss something.
Real quick, leave us with a good quote, Coach, because we need something inspirational.
Yeah, so there's a lot of teams that are struggling right now, but what I would say is adversities do not make a man frail. They show you what sort of man he is. So you have to stay in there, and you have to be mentally tough, and that's what these teams have to do down the stretch.
Okay, I want to thank our mentally tough team, editor Jess, producer James, and Daphne, our whole production team. I'm Mike Davis, that's Coach Tice. We'll see you next time here on The Coach's Cut.